Confidence. What does that word mean to you? For some, it means a firm handshake or good posture. For others, it means having the courage to be oneself. But for me, confidence means knowledge. Confidence means knowing I have the tools to succeed and the support necessary to do so. But what happens when this confidence is taken away at an early age? What happens to our girls? According to Dove, 6 in 10 girls ages 10 through 17 will quit doing the things that they love, including sports or other extracurricular activities, because they feel insecure about the way that they look. Now, imagine being that 12-year-old girl. You remember her swinging on the swings one day, and the next dealing with her first period. At 12, your body's changing, your friends mean the world to you, and most importantly, you're developing the habits that you will use for the rest of your life. You're becoming the person who you will be in the future. You see, when I was 12, I was aware that I didn't fit in. I was aware that I was taller and chubbier than most girls, and probably most boys too in my class for that matter. But imagine being 12 and being told, you are powerless, worthless, ugly, inadequate. Well, that's what we are telling our girls each and every day. You see, sadly, this is not the truth. Our girls are misinformed and uninformed, and it's a silent epidemic. 15 to 25% of adolescent girls have experienced some type of trauma before adolescence. 15 to 25%. Wow, imagine a quarter of all girls under age 18 have experienced trauma. Our girls are in danger. We need to reach them before it's too late. We need to teach them the truth. Well, what does it mean to be a confident, healthy girl? When I talk about girls' health, I mean empowering girls to be their best selves. I mean empowering girls to prevent them from continuing down the pattern of dropping out of school due to pregnancy, developing eating disorders, developing low self-esteem. We need to stop before it's too late. We need to put a break in this cycle. You see, health education, empowerment is the key to leveling the playing field for women and girls. Health education is empowerment. It's the key to unlocking the truth amongst a sea of lies. So, as I mentioned, I was awkward as a young girl and chubby, but this was compounded by the abusive environment in which I lived, brought on by my stepfather's PTSD and alcoholism. I was age 11, 160 pounds, 5 foot 2 inches, and 29 on the BMI scale, 1 point away from being obese. You see, even at this young age, I knew that something had to change. And it did, but not without the support of my mom and other women mentors in my life. But I also contribute this transformation to the health education classes that I had in middle and high school. You see, after I had health education courses, I knew, even as a young girl, that I had control over my own body. So let's fast forward to a year later. I was now 12, about 30 pounds lighter, a little taller, and I'd come out of my shell. I was feeling good about myself. I even rejoined gymnastics. Wow. You know, but the story doesn't end there. You see, in gymnastics, I had to fit a mold. I was forced to be petite and thin and fit into this small box. And I didn't feel good about myself anymore. And so I developed eating disorders, abused laxatives, and did other things to try to fit that mold. You see, even though I was healthy physically, I was still not empowered up here. I was still vulnerable to those social pressures that I faced because I didn't have the tools to overcome them. One of many stories. I am one of many stories. You know, it's at this point in a girl's life when she needs to be taught the truth. Nutrition is not enough. Fitness education is not enough. Sex education is not enough. We need to teach body image. We need to teach self-worth. We need to teach girls to love who they are, both inside and out, so that they may become strong and capable young women. You know, otherwise, what we'll see is girls who are less likely to compete, less likely to hold positions of power, more likely to drop out of school, more likely to experience sexual assault. What we'll see is girls who are vulnerable and are more likely to continue the cycle of poverty. What we must do is to redefine beauty from the inside out. If we want to have a world where girls sit at the front of classrooms, where girls don't feel that they have to have sex before they're ready, where girls worldwide don't fear getting their periods, where we see women filling the seats of parliament, where we see women living their lives on their own terms, then we need to make a serious change today. Now, don't get me wrong, there are wonderful media campaigns and programs that have been developed in the last few years. But these programs are not enough. We're still lacking. We're still lacking the key components of empowerment and self-worth. Empowerment is still not a part of the major curriculum in most schools, and still not even a part of some extracurricular activities. You know, it's not taught in sex ed classes, which is alarming to me, especially with sex ed and nutrition, or even in PE. What we have are programs that are outdated. They don't have the components necessary to prepare girls for life's obstacles. They are not able to serve as confidence tools. But there is a solution. You know, Dove has actually found that 9 out of 10 girls say that parents and mentors can make them feel secure about their bodies again. We as parents, mentors, educators, community leaders, policymakers need to raise the bar. We can no longer afford to give our girls 50%. Future success is predicted by behaviors adopted in adolescence. A girl who knows that she owns her own body also knows that she owns her success. She knows that she owns her future, her sense of security, her confidence. I truly believe that the end result of health education should be self-advocacy. But how do we achieve this? I mean, where do we even start? Well, I'll tell you where I started. I started in the schools, which is where my inspiration came from. But unfortunately, what I found was a starving education system where the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, were all that mattered. And the whole person, the whole girl, was being ignored and overlooked. Youth were not being taught life skills such as how to set goals, how to get involved in their communities, what to expect during puberty, and what to deal with when it comes to peer pressure. You know, many youth I encountered came from households with poverty, some extreme poverty, and they weren't being taught these skills at home. You know, I felt overwhelmed. I didn't know where to start. Then in one night, after visiting a girls-only school, it came to me. A girl named Simone came up to me after I'd given a talk on health education, and she asked me, she said, "Where does your confidence come from?" And at first I was stunned. I didn't know what to say. And then it hit me. I said, I learned to be my own best friend. Simone, I learned to like myself. I learned how to stand up for myself. And then it hit me. This confidence could be taught. This confidence could actually be taught in schools. That night, I created a mission statement for my now 1-year-old organization, Girls Health Ed. I wanted to create something that educators could use to teach girls how to filter out those negative messages that they receive on a daily basis and to instill confidence through knowledge, providing girls with a reference that they could use throughout their adult lives. The goal is not simply to educate, but to maximize the potential that girls have, maximize the impacts they have in their community, so that they feel empowered enough to use this information to keep filtering out negative messages and to tell themselves the truth. I want girls to feel that they belong, that their bodies aren't something to be ashamed of, that they're not taboo or dirty, that they have a place in sports, at the White House, at the UN, in that magazine. Health education should go beyond overall health. It should emphasize fitness and nutrition and personal care and healthy relationships and reproductive health and these things that girls are grappling with during this time, but should also have 3 key components that I've broken down for you here. Positive development and goal setting is number 1. Number 2, a girl's unique qualities and her individuality. Number 3, overcoming day-to-day obstacles and peer pressure. I envision a school system where these values are being taught systematically. I see parents, mentors, preventing problems before they occur. What we have now is curricula that's outdated. We still, as a society, are afraid to talk about the nitty-gritty. We are afraid to delve deeper, to find solutions, so we stick with the status quo. Even as women who've experienced these issues themselves, or as fathers, uncles, brothers, who have seen their daughters, nieces, and sisters go through these things, they still keep silent. So girls have done what they've always done: suffer in silence. I imagine a world where girls aren't simply dealing with their own issues, and a girls' health curriculum is not just girls' health, but girls' health and girls' issues are everyone's business. A society where a girl who's overweight, underweight, experiencing her first period or even her first kiss can obtain kindness and support from her environment. This is what I want for all girls. I want them to be able to self-advocate no matter what country they come from, what neighborhood they live in, or what their income level is. I want them to understand how beautiful and unique they are and not be afraid of their own special qualities. Only then will we have girls who know that they are more than a dress size, more than a sex object, more than a baby maker, more than a pretty face. And when girls start to hear messages from the world instead of hearing powerless, worthless, ugly, inadequate, they will hear powerful, valuable, beautiful, extraordinary. They will hear love. they will hear the truth. Thank you.